All right, let's get right into it. What we're talking about today is a super clear, actionable blueprint for building real wealth. And the secret, the absolute key, is starting in your 20s. This has nothing to do with luck. It's all about having the right strategy. And it really all starts with this feeling, doesn't it? You look around, you see your friends with these flashy cars they probably can't afford, they're racking up debt, and you just feel like you're sinking. That peer pressure is intense, and the confusion about what you're supposed to be doing with your money, that's even worse. I mean, if you feel like you're stuck in this financial Groundhog Day, the paycheck comes in, the bills go out, and your bank account is right back where you started, you are definitely not alone. So think of this as your guide to getting off that wheel for good. So what is this trap exactly? Well, it's this huge misunderstanding about what your 20s are really for. See, most people think it's the decade for spending, for living it up. But the people who actually build wealth, they know your 20s are the single most powerful decade for investing. And it's all because you have one massive advantage on your side: time.
The analogy here is just perfect. Thinking you'll just get serious about money in your 30s, that's like trying to train for a marathon the day before the race. It's a losing strategy. The real path to wealth is about starting on day one. It's about making your 20s the training ground for the rest of your financial life.
So how do you actually do it? Well, it boils down to making a handful of really key purchases. And I don't mean expenses. I mean true foundational investments in your future self. Here it is. This is the roadmap. You've got a side hustle to bring in more cash. You've got index funds to make your money grow, a plane ticket and education to invest in yourself, real estate to build assets, smart transportation to save a ton of money, and your health, which is, let's be honest, the most important asset you will ever have. Let's really dig into a few of these, because this is where it gets powerful.
Okay, let's take a look at number 6, transportation. The average person sinks about $500 a month into a payment for a new car, an asset that starts losing value the literal second they drive it off the lot. Now, the smart choice: buy a cheap, reliable car and invest that $500 instead. And the difference is just staggering. Over 30 years, that car payment could have turned into more than $600,000.
And now for purchase number 2, index funds. This is where your age becomes a literal superpower. Investing just $200 a month, that's it, starting at age 22, can grow to over $1 million. But look what happens if you wait just 10 years. If you start at 32, that same investment only gets you to about $700,000. That decade of waiting cost you $300,000. It's an absolute fortune.
And what about real estate? The goal here isn't just to own a home. Oh no, it's to get other people to pay your mortgage for you. It's a strategy called house hacking. So imagine you buy a duplex. You live in one half and a tenant lives in the other, paying you rent. That rent money could cover most, if not all, of your mortgage. You're basically living for free while building equity. It is a massive, massive wealth accelerator.
So, how does all of this actually work? How do these purchases build on one another? Well, they are all powered by one incredible, unstoppable mathematical engine. This is the why behind the entire strategy. It's called the compounding snowball effect. So, what is compound interest? It's really simple. It's your money making money, and then the money that money made starts making its own money. The best way to think about it is a tiny snowball at the top of a huge mountain. At first, it's slow, right? But as it rolls, it picks up more and more snow, getting bigger and moving faster until it becomes this unstoppable force. And here's what that snowball looks like in real life. Getting to your first $100,000, that takes almost 8 years. That is the hardest part, the slow, grinding start. But to get the next 100,000, it only takes 5 more years. And to double that to 400,000, another 5. The growth starts accelerating like crazy. Okay, so these numbers, they aren't just figures on a spreadsheet. They represent 3 huge milestones on this journey. These are life-changing tipping points that completely alter your relationship with work, with risk, and with your own freedom. The first major tipping point is $100,000. Now, psychologically, this one is the most important. It proves the system works. More importantly, it proves to you that you can do it. You've built the foundation, and from this point on, that snowball effect really starts to kick in. You've made it through the hard part. Okay, the second milestone. This is where true freedom really starts to show up, and it's around $650,000. So why this number?
Because at this level, your investments can generate $40,000 to $50,000 a year in passive income. That's enough to cover basic living expenses for a lot of people. All of a sudden, losing your job isn't a catastrophe, it's just an inconvenience. You have the freedom to take a risk, to start a business, or maybe just to work a little bit less.
And finally, the third milestone, the one everyone knows and talks about, $1 million. Reaching this number is this huge psychological unlock. It's the moment you realize you've actually won the financial game. You've proven that wealth is achievable not because of luck, but because of discipline and a long-term plan. A whole new world of possibilities, from early retirement to angel investing, just opens up for you.
So hitting these milestones, it's not just about the math. It's about adopting the right mindset. It's about learning how to play the long game in a world that is completely obsessed with short-term, instant gratification.
This winning mindset, it means being okay with driving a used car when your friends are leasing brand new ones. It means investing your raise instead of just getting a more expensive apartment. It's about automating your good habits so they happen without you even thinking. And most of all, it's understanding that your health, your side hustle, and your investments, they all feed into each other.
And this just gets right to the heart of it all. This whole journey, it's not about buying more stuff. It's about buying back your time. It is about owning your life and having real, genuine choices. That's the real return on investment.
So here's the bottom line. The next 10 years are going to pass no matter what we do. The only real question is, what will you have to show for it? Will you show up with a foundation for freedom or with regret? The choice you make today is what determines the future you get to live in.